Hey everyone, this is Yeri of Astrology Healing Arts with an astrological forecast for the month of April 2026. We are just getting started this year, and if you thought the past few months were wild, you ain't seen nothing yet. I don't mean that in an ominous way. I think that there will be some more favorable influences in the near future, and although the intensity will not necessarily decrease on this planet, I think that it will be easier to attain some of our goals and to move forward. There will be opportunities opening up for us despite everything else that seems to be collapsing around us. So we begin the month with a full moon, 12 degrees of the sign of relationship-oriented Libra. It forms a square with Jupiter in Cancer and a trine with Pluto in Aquarius. And there's something kind of laggy about this full moon, but don't let that fool you on April Fool's Day, because in a matter of 48 hours, everything's just going to shift. And I mean very quickly. So if things feel very out of whack, out of sync, the pieces aren't fitting, and efforts are not gelling, just be patient. Because when you see that things start to flow, you are going to want to strike while the iron is hot. And so it's interesting to note that NASA is supposedly sending humans to the moon for the first time in 50 years. The Artemis 2 moon mission, I don't know who's buying that. I'm not, but yeah, April Fool's Day, everyone. It's just funny, not funny, right? And a worldwide fuel crisis. And it's like, yeah, let's go to the moon for the first time in half a century, because why not? People need entertainment. And we're in the year of the fire horse, which is, it's about discovery, movement, progress and change, also war, also explosiveness. There's been a lot of predictive programming leading up to current world events, but never mind that. Let's get on to some of these other transits. The sun is in Aries still, and Mars will be entering its domicile in Aries on April 9th, followed by Mars making a conjunction to Neptune in early Aries. That occurs on April 12th, and then on the 19th, Mars makes exact conjunction with Saturn in Aries. And in between, on the 17th, there is a new moon, 27 degrees of Aries, that is just phenomenal. Absolutely amazing, with several planets lined up in Aries, the sun, the moon, and Chiron, the wounded healer, all together. Also, Saturn, Mars, Mercury, and Neptune. Watch out! Things are going to move. Things are going to burst. Things are not going to be sitting still, folks. This is going to be a very incredible, dynamic, fast-paced sort of energy building up to yet even more as the month comes to a conclusion and leads into May. But let's get through this whole part here. This is a lot of focus on both Mars and Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And it's very potentially energizing, especially if we have been working very hard toward certain goals. Then we are going to start seeing the fruits of our labors. We are going to start seeing things are happening. And so it's definitely going to be a time when you want to have things set up in a way that are going to be supporting your growth and expansion. And I know about all of the fear mongering and the talk of the worldwide recession because of, the oil crisis that is happening. But I still think that even amidst all of this uncertainty, we're going to see a lot of things start to manifest for us. So I want to backtrack a little bit and touch on some of these things surrounding the new moon in Aries. So not only does Mars enter Aries, but Mercury enters Aries, and that's on the 14th. And so that amplifies also this hot, fiery energy that we were talking about. And on April 8th, this is the day before Mars shifts into Aries. Mars is in a sextile with Uranus, which is in late degrees Taurus. And then it's kicking off this conjunction in Neptune. So that conjunction to Neptune is going to probably increase some of this sort of frenzied, people are just running around doing all kinds of crazy things in their panic mode. And we've seen this happen before. Back in 2020, for example, when people were running around or getting up at the crack of dawn to stand in line at the department store or someplace, grocery store, where they could buy toilet paper. And now it's about oil, right? And Neptune rules oil. And so I just think it's going to get a little crazy, a little bit more crazy as far as all of the fear and all of the hype. And so, Mercury makes the same sextile to Uranus. I mean, it's a very active time. And this whole month is buzzing with activity. And so we should really think about being wise with how we direct ourselves, because otherwise the energy of anxiousness and even anger can take a hold and cause us to do things that we really regret because we're acting in haste. And that is one of the downsides of the expression of Aries is irritability, impatience, haste, and sometimes anger and road rage and things like this. So do be careful about some of these energies, although a lot of them are supportive. We have a lot of sextiles this month that are helping us along, and a couple of nice trines in there as well. But make no mistake about these conjunctions that we are dealing with. They mean business. And if you haven't got your mind made up about where you're going and what you're doing, it's like the universe is going to make it up for you. With the Mars conjunction to Saturn exact on the 19th, in the middle of the month, we could be facing real challenges and frustrations to our efforts, or we just have to stay very focused because whatever it is that we are placing our attention on just demands that of us, and we can't take any shortcuts. Mercury and Mars are in a conjunction with Saturn around the same time. Mercury makes that exact conjunction the day after, on April 20th. And then the two are in exact conjunction on the 20th as well. Beware of potential arguments, high blood pressure, accidents, explosions. This is just really volatile. This is an unpredictable match. These two don't usually get along too well. On the 23rd, Venus, the planet of love, luck, beauty, and money, makes an exact degree conjunction with Uranus in the sign of Taurus, which she loves. But she is going to exit this sign and enter Gemini on the very same day. So this should be a very eclectic and interesting time. I would say very well suited toward social activities as well as artistic pursuits. And then on the 25th, the Sun forms a square with Pluto. So kind of watch out too for a lot of tension that's brewing around that time. Then, this is one of the biggest things of all. I would say second to all that lined up in the sign of Aries. The planet Uranus, which is associated with change, invention, technology, unexpected events, sudden reversals, and surprises, it's going to be entering Gemini, a highly charged, mentally active air sign ruled by Mercury. So this is really gonna connect the dots in this mystic triangle in the heavens so that all of these planets farthest from the sun, including Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are in masculine signs, with Saturn and Neptune currently still in the center point of the triangle in Aries. So this is a really important marker, and we did have a brief glimpse late last year into what this would look like for us, but now it's really going to be going full steam ahead. And so get ready yet again. We astrologers were talking about that back in January. Get ready for the February. Well, I'm saying get ready for the summer, because a lot of things are just going to be moving so quickly. And one of the challenging things that we should be aware of and prepared for is anxiety. I mentioned that before. With some of the things that are going on this month, you know, people might be having some level of anxiety, but with Uranus and Gemini, it can really increase, especially for those of you who have planets early degrees in Gemini, or even, you know, throughout this transit, which lasts for 7 years. If Uranus is hitting any of your personal planets, your sun, moon, Venus, or Mars, this is going to be very, very intense. Another contributing factor to this anxiety will be Mercury in this cluster next to Neptune, Mars, and Saturn in the center of this minor grand trine. But fortunately, this influence will not last as long as the transit of Uranus through Gemini. It will be most pronounced in the middle of the month and toward the end of the month. One other possibility involving this group conjunction that includes Mercury would be our ability to reframe certain things within our minds to increase our understanding or expand our perceptions of things that previously were blocked or that we didn't have access to. Somehow it clicks and we get it now, and or we are able to heal and move on. So you want to have the types of remedies and exercises and, you know, things kind of prepared for yourself in advance, so that if and when these things come up for you, you know, you can discharge that energy and find a way to calm your nervous system. There is no doubt that this month of April is going to be very supercharged, eclectic, interesting, anything but boring. So get ready for the action. Those who have been struggling with allergies and heavy sinus congestion, which by the way correspond with the sign of Aries, you might find that this is an optimal time to start detoxifying the body, doing things like lemon water in the morning and taking milk thistle, drinking dandelion root tea, etc. Especially those of us who live in the north and experience spring, because the spring season is wood season in traditional Chinese medicine, which corresponds to the liver, our largest and often most burdened organ of elimination. So try to keep the stress levels down, and that makes it less of a burden for the liver to process those stress hormones. And the gateway to the liver are the eyes. Now, it's very helpful for us to spend quality time in nature where we can soak in the greenery, the sunshine, the fresh air, and it's stressful on the liver and our eyes, ruled by Aries, to always have our eyes focused on a blue light screen. So take breaks from the computer and the phone and all of that stuff and just get out and move. This is a sign and a time of year that favors movement rather than rest and inertia. So just another word about the Mars and Saturn conjunction as I wrap this talk up today. I do think that it's wise to just be ready for anything, because the drama is not over. And just when we're starting to kind of get into a rhythm and we think we know what's happening, there's another curveball. And there's, upsets and surprises and reversals. But at the same time, there will also be this momentum, and there will be positive, progress simultaneously. And that's just the type of contrast that we are looking at. It's like if we were to go back, talking about this full moon at the beginning of the month, Libra is the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. And we can look at the analogy of there's a white pill and a black pill, not just the blue and the red pill. And the white pill is trusting that things are going to get better, and the black pill is, damn, we're screwed. And right now, what we're looking at is that there's a 50% chance on both sides. So, what side of history do you want to be on? How do you align yourself at this time according to your personal values and beliefs and expectations? And, we don't have control over what happens in the larger scheme of things, but we still have personal decisions to make. And so, that being said, I wish you all a very fruitful, productive, and emotionally fulfilling month. And whatever happens, I hope that you're able to maintain some sense of harmony in your life, because we still have a lot more really big types of transits that are going to be happening. And so, we have to take care of ourselves and our loved ones. And that's it for now. Thank you for listening.